Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are going to learn about user level in operating system. Okay, so basically let's understand what user level means. Okay, in an operating system, the computer works in different modes or levels. Okay, different modes and levels, modes or levels. Okay, so the user level is the mode where normal applications and programs run. Okay, and the user can execute tasks like running software, browsing the internet, or playing games. Okay, but they cannot directly access the hardware or perform privileged operations. Okay, so see what is user level in an operating system. There are mainly two levels: user levels and kernel level. Okay, user level is the part where applications and program run, such as web browsers, Chrome, Firefox, games, BGMI, Clash of Clans, word processors, MS Word, mobile apps. In short, the user level programs can execute but cannot directly access the hardware. Okay, see features of user level. Restricted access. User programs cannot directly use hardware like CPU, memory, or disk. They must request the kernel using system calls. Protection. If a user program crashes, the whole OS doesn't crash, only that program closes. Security. Since user mode is restricted, it prevents unauthorized access to hardware or sensitive resources. See, so basically, the main purpose of having a user level is safety and protection. Okay, safety and protection. If every user program was allowed to directly control hardware, so then one small mistake or a malicious action could crash the entire system. Okay, so that's why the operating system separates user level and kernel level. Okay, so basically restricted access. User programs cannot directly use hardware like CPU, memory, or disk. They must request the kernel using system calls. So restricted access means limited access. So at user level, you cannot execute privileged instructions like controlling memory, managing devices, or shutting down the system directly. Okay, so basically protection. If a user program crashes, the whole OS doesn't crash, only that program closes. So system calls needed. Okay, so if a user program wants to do something with hardware like reading from a file or printing a document, it has to request the operating system using system calls. Okay, then security. This so basically uh, this separation protects the system from unauthorized access and provides controlled interaction with hardware. Okay, just like isolation. Each program at user level is isolated. So if one application crashes, it does not directly crash the whole system. Okay. Example to understand user level: you are playing game BGMI or COC. The game runs in user mode. Kernel level: when the game wants to save data or access the internet, it sends a system call to the kernel and the kernel talks to the hardware. Think of it like safe playground. You can play, but you can't directly control the main power switches hardware. See, let's take an example. See, suppose you open Microsoft Word and try to print a file. Okay, your Word application is running at user level, but Word itself cannot talk to the printer hardware directly. Okay, instead it sends a request to the operating system. So basically the OS working at kernel level communicates with the printer and completes the job. Okay, so the user level is like a restricted area where you can do your normal task. Okay, but need permission from the operating system to interact with deeper hardware resources. Okay. Advantages of user level: safe and secure, protects the system from failures, multitasking, multiple apps can run at once, isolation, one app crashing doesn't affect others. In short, user level means restricted mode for running application, hardware access is indirect via system calls to the kernel, ensures security and stability of the operating system. See, user level is where applications run. It basically ensures safety, security, and stability of the operating system. Okay. Direct hardware access is not allowed. Okay. Instead, applications communicate through system calls to the kernel. Okay. So these all separation between user level and kernel level is one of the most important concept in operating system. Okay. So now see advantages of user level. First is safe and secure, protects the system from failures. Okay, means protections and security. So basically, first advantage is protection and security. Okay, so at user level, programs cannot directly access hardware or critical resources. So this prevents malicious software or accidental errors from damaging the system. Okay, so the user level acts as a safety boundary between the user and the core system. Okay, and basically, and the second is advantages is system stability. Okay, so if a user application crashes, the operating system and the other applications remain safe. Okay, for example, like if your game crashes, your operating system doesn't shut down properly, only the games stop. So this separation makes the whole system more reliable. Okay, then more advantage is controlled control access through system calls. So when a user program needs to perform a sensitive task like printing, saving a file, or accessing memory, it cannot do it directly. Okay, instead it uses system calls to request the kernel. So this controlled mechanism ensures that only safe authorized actions are performed. Okay, and more advantages of user level is multi-user environment. Okay, user level also helps in a multi-user environment. So multiple users can work on the same system without interfering with each other processes. Okay, so this is possible because user level restricts access and provides isolation. Okay, and more advantages of user level is easy error handling and debugging. Okay, so another advantage is easy error handling. So user programs are restricted, most errors remain limited to the user space. Okay, so developers can debug and test applications without worrying about crashing the entire system. Okay, so the main advantages of user levels are safe and secure, multitasking, isolation, better protection and security, improve system stability, control and safe access to resources, then uh, easier debugging of applications, support for multiple users. Okay, so This is why the user level is very important concept in operating system, making systems both safe and reliable. Okay, thank you.